So I'd really love to thank and express my extreme gratitude for Curt Beavers joining us on the call tonight or this morning, his time. So to be honest, guys, Curt is an absolute legend in the Juice Plus family. I've been in the business 20 years. He's going to tell you a little bit about his story of coming into the business and his journey. But when I came into the business, he was already a legend. He was one of those people that, everybody knew to be an incredible gentleman within this industry. And what I love about Curt's message is that many people we know come into this business for the product. Many people come in to generate an income. But what I love about Curt's message is that it's not just about making a living, but it's about creating that lifestyle. And certainly in everything that he has done and lived, he's lived by that philosophy. And you'll hear that he's written a book to that extent as well. But Curt, I'm not going to bang on anymore. I'm just going to hand over to you. If you could just start by telling everybody how long you've been in our business and your entry and journey into the Juice Plus world.
Sure. Thanks, Tamara. I'm in Atlanta, Georgia, by the way. So I'm exactly 12 hours opposite you guys. So it's morning here, and so glad to be with you. It's we had daylight savings time happen just recently, which is a weird thing we do here in the U.S. And Tamara and I had to figure that out, but I don't know why we do it, but we do for some reason. But anyway, I'm excited to be on the call with you. I have a great wife, Lori, and I have 3 kids. And we started this journey not to find Juice Plus, but when my wife and I graduated from Georgia Tech, and we got out of school, we got married almost immediately. And we began to kind of plan our future. My wife really more than me, because she's a plotter. If you were going to go to Disney World with my wife 2 weeks before the trip, she would know every ride you were going to ride every day. She would have it all planned out. She doesn't just go and figure it out when she gets there. And so she had our whole married life figured out. We're going to get married, be married 3 years, have first child, wait 2 years, have second child, wait 2 years, have third child. We're done. And then we're going to, bigger car, bigger house, and just do the thing. But after we'd been married about 6 months, our pastor in November preached a sermon on getting out of debt. And she came home and she was really sad and upset. And I'm like, what's the matter? And she said, we're never going to have kids. And I said, what are you talking about? And she said, we're never going to have kids. Well, neither one of us will ever be able to afford to quit our jobs. We're not making enough money. And I am not going to bring a child into this world and put it in a daycare 40 hours a week. So we had this kind of drama moment in our house, and it made us really think and really decide that if things were going to change for us and we could, realize the life we wanted to have, we had to do something different. So our first plan was, okay, Lori, how can you quit your job? So we began on this quest to find a way for her to actually make $1,000 a month. Now, that didn't replace her full-time income, but by the time she didn't have to put gas in her car and drive to work, and she didn't have to buy lunch at work, and she worked in the law firm of a big bank. So she had to dress like she was successful, even though she wasn't. So she had to buy nice clothes and all those things. She had parking for her car. So we figured if we cut all that out and she could be at home, if she made $1,000 a month, she could quit her job. So what we did was we cast this big wide net, and we did go to a really large church. So there were a lot of couples our age. We had friends and family, and we just said, hey, if you know of anything Lori could do from home to make $1,000 a month, we'd love to know. We're trying to figure out something she can do from home. So we began that journey, and all of a sudden one day, a lady called us and said, hey, you don't know me, but Ann from your church said I should call you because she said your wife was looking for something to do from home, and I lost my job, and I've been able to build a business from home that's replaced my full-time income. So, it's kind of weird when somebody you don't know calls you, but she was really nice, and her husband was an associate pastor at another church, so we had some church connections. So we said, sure. She said, come over to my house. I'll fix you dinner, and we can sit and talk. And that was between Christmas and New Year's, and we went over there. She cooked a nice meal. We sat in front of the fireplace. And here's the weird thing, because everybody in this business thinks they've got to be the guru or have a medical background or a fitness background to do this business. She loved the product, but she couldn't explain the product to save her life. She loved the business. She couldn't tell you how she got paid to save her life. But what she did possess was She was really excited about the company and the product she'd connected with. And here was her personality type. Because you think of people getting in this business being, type A salespeople. She was not this miraculous, skilled, educated surgeon you'd want doing the operation on you, but she was the perfect bedside manner. She's the person you would want holding your hand, sitting by you at the bed. She had that mercy personality type, but you wouldn't think she could sell anything. So we left that night, great dinner, said, hey, we'll go home and think about it. Thanks so much for sharing this with us, blah, 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 blah. And in the car on the way home, she did say one other thing. Since she couldn't explain the business, she couldn't explain the product. The one thing that we left that night with was, she said, and I made $80,000 last year. So here's this lady, not a salesperson, not a type A personality, says she makes $80,000. And that's really all we learned that night, because she didn't know a lot about the product. She loved it. So we're driving home, and I told my wife, I said, you know what? I don't know if we can make $80,000. We were 22 and 23 years old, but I said, I know with one hand tied behind our back, we can make $1,000 a month. Because it's just, if she can do it, we can do it. And it wasn't a knock on her. It was just like, I know that we've got every bit of the talent and skill she does to go do this business. So it was probably good that it wasn't a neurosurgeon, or it wasn't, Mr. Atlas explaining the business to us, because we wouldn't have fit either one of those profiles. And we might have doubted that a normal person could succeed in this business. So we went home and we got excited, and we went to an event. We went to a meeting, and actually it wasn't even a fancy meeting. Somebody had a whiteboard and a marker out explaining how the business worked. And we left there and said, we're going to do this. And the only training that we really got was, you need to go home and make a list of 300 names. That's what they told us. They didn't say 100. Nowadays, don't tell them they got to do 300. Don't tell them they got to do 100. You'll intimidate them. But they told us 300. We were 22 years old. We went home. We started making that list, and we got out wedding list, yearbooks from school, albums, neighborhood address books, church directories. We got to 150 names, and we were stuck. And we felt like, okay, well, I guess we can't do this, because they said we had to have 300. So we called them and kind of apologetically said, we can't get 300 names. There's no way. We're done. And they said, okay, yeah, sure you can. Sure you can. Just get out the phone book. And we said, the phone book? There's no way I'm going to start calling names from a phone book. And she said, no. You use the yellow pages where it's got categories, accountants, biologists, chiropractors, dentists, exterminators. And you go through, and it's going to help jog your mind of categories of people that you know. And you're going to think of more. And sure enough, it worked. We had 300 names the next day. I thought of a guy at the hardware store that I bought a lawnmower from when I was cutting grass in college, so high school. So we got our list of 300 names, and we started. And I know this sounds like a lot, but we were just super duper committed to doing this. It was like solving our big problem. My wife was so excited about being able to stay at home, and we got 38 customers our first month. Now I've been in this business for 30 years, and I've never gotten 38 customers again in a month. I got 38 the first month. I've gotten 10 several times. We've gotten 15 several times, but I've never gotten 38. So we really committed to getting off to a fast start. And we were just trying to build a customer base to make $1,000 a month. But what happened along that journey was the 38 people we got on the product, we were also, you're talking, you're having conversations. We were sharing with them what Lori and I were doing, why we were doing this, so she could stay at home. We just, we weren't like doing a marketing plan presentation, but we just began to share, here's why we're here sharing this product with you, because we've got dreams. We got something we want to do. And this amazing product is going to enable that. So of those 38 people, 13, really without us trying very hard, I think it was just our passion and enthusiasm that were contagious. And they saw the journey we were on. They saw the destination we were headed to, and they wanted some of that too, And some of them were moms that wanted to stay at home. Some of them were men who got on an airplane on a Sunday night and traveled all week and got home on Friday and never saw their family. Others felt like they worked themselves to the bone, and the company they were working for kept cutting their quotas and their income was going down. Lots of scenarios, but 13 of those 38 people were interested in making some changes and doing something better for their life. So 13 people came to a meeting like we did. In the first month, we recruited 5 of those 13. So we started out the first month really fast, 38 customers and 5 team members. and we didn't know what we were doing. But at that point, our sponsor came to us and said, y'all are doing great. And he did understand the marketing plan. He did understand the product. And he said, y'all are going to be a national marketing director. And we said, what's that? And he began to tell us, you need to have 5 sales coordinators and leaders on your team, and you need to build a business like this. And what's going to happen is it's no longer $1,000 a month part-time opportunity. It's 6-figure income. It's benefits from the company, medical, dental, life, health coverage, all that kind of stuff you need here in the States. I know every country's different, but we get a big benefits package. We got $3,000 per month expense allowance, college tuition for our kids. So we began to get excited. And what changed was it was a part-time thing for my wife. And 30 days later, it was something we were going to do as a couple for the rest of our life. And to end my long story, but it's pretty important. The story is kind of cool to hear what other people do. My wife made national marketing director our 8th month in the business. And then I had signed up under her because you can duplicate all those benefits and get all that benefits twice. So I signed up under her once we had 5 sales coordinators wide for her to make national marketing director. I made national marketing director my 14th month. My mom joined us. She made national marketing director, my aunt, my uncle. And now we've got 600 club members in our family. And so it's been an absolute amazing journey. And like Tamara said, it's not just the income. I'm on 12 different boards that I serve as a board member. I've written 2 books. We've been able to bring next generation students from Kosovo, 30 of them every year, to our lake house or our cabins in the mountains, and just share with them as they're exiting high school a life purpose and a mission, because the unemployment there is 46% and it's still destitute because of the war. So just lots of cool things been able to do. So it's exciting, but each of you has a life you want to craft or create, and you just need to make sure that what you do to pay the bills enables and helps that life to be created, that it's not the biggest obstacle to your passions and purpose. Because most people here in the States, they commute to work 60 hours a week, commute home, and they have big dreams of a life they want to have. But what they do for a living is the biggest obstacle in their way to having the life they want to have. But they keep doing it because they're stuck in a rut of bills and things they have to pay. They won't step out and make that change. And for $50, this business is the best thing you can do to try and make that change. So turn it back. Tamara, do you want me to just keep going? Or that's kind of my story.
This is just gold. One of the things that I really love is that you've got this mission that is higher than yourself. And not only have your family bought into that mission, but you've accumulated, what did you say, 6 100 clubs. So that means each of them have a community and family that have bought into that mission. How do you continue to grow that, Curt?
Well, I think, the 600 clubs are in our family. So we're obviously a tight unit working together, but then we've got a broader base. So right now, I really spend a lot of my time pouring into leaders. So we've got about 220 national marketing directors on our team. And so what you're trying to do is to build and cultivate leaders duplicating leaders. And it really doesn't matter if you're doing Juice Plus or if you're doing XYZ. What I believe and I share with people is everybody has to come to a place. If you want the most joy in your life, you've got to get to a place where what you do is in congruence with who you want to be and the family you want to have and the home you want to have. So if you teach that principle without pressure, then it's very contagious. And that's one of the things that I teach a new team member is that nobody wants to get into a business, whether you're selling our amazing product or you're asking people to join your team. Nobody wants to get in our business and their friends around them feel like here she comes again with pressure and trying to sell me something, trying to get me to do something, trying to sign me up. And the only way around that is to have lots of conversations. And you have to realize that when you're sharing an opportunity for a healthier life or an incredible financial future or whatever that opportunity is, when you're sharing that, the global statistics of sales, like when does a sales transaction occur, they all say that 80% of all sales occur on the 5th conversation or after. But what we do as humans, and human nature is, we want to shortcut everything. We want to automate. We want to make it faster, quicker, easier. So we go out and we, put Juice Plus bottles on Facebook, or we go out with an order form in our hand when we greet somebody, and we don't learn to build relationships and have conversations that build that trust and rapport that makes the sale easy. So even though you want to get started fast, and let's say you want to get 10 customers this month, if you try and talk to 12 people to get 10 customers, every conversation you have is going to be a high pressure conversation, because virtually you have to close everybody. And the real goal is to build that base of conversation so that it grows and grows and grows. And so you're adding to that conversation pool every month. And then somebody's ready. Somebody's always ready to sign up, but you're continuing the conversations. And just by the law of averages, somebody's ready. Think if you were going to go fishing and there was this brand new pond, you were building a pond on your farm and you want to fish there. Well, you can't go fish from an empty pond. There's no fish to start with. It's, dirt and water don't make fish. So you stock that pond with fish. And the first time you stock it and you go out and throw your fishing pole in the water, well, there's a big body of water. There's very few fish per amount of water. Well, the second month you put more fish. The third month you put more fish. The fourth month you put more fish. And all of a sudden, every time you cast your rod out, because of the density of fish in your pond, it's easier and easier to fish. And that's how our business works. The first month is the hardest month because you have the fewest number of conversations started. And each month, if you'll add more conversations, by the third or fourth month, you're fishing for customers and for team members in a pond that's stocked full of fish. You almost could snag them with a hook without bait. But most people won't wait. They won't continue to have healthy, kind, loving, fun conversations. They want to go after somebody and close them on the first date. It's like, how well would it work if you were going out with somebody that you thought might be someone you would date or you fall in love with? And what if they proposed on the first date at the coffee shop? How would that feel? It wouldn't feel good. It would feel like, wow, this guy's pushy. This guy's, intimidating. He's on a fast track here. And you may not think it, because, certainly a lifetime commitment for marriage is a bigger decision than buying a bottle of pills. But in a smaller way, people feel the same thing. He doesn't care enough about me to even talk before he cares about the check, And so that's what you have to convey. And I don't know that I've ever felt like I've had a high-pressured or a pushy conversation in 30 years in this business, because what I knew was is if they didn't say yes now, we were, excuse me, I still wanted to leave there being great friends. That was more important than whether I got a customer or not. I want them to be a customer. I think it would be amazing. I'd love to have them on my team. But my relationship with them was bigger than the sale. So I shared the product. I shared the opportunity. I said I want them on my team. I was passionate about that. I was excited about it. But still, it had to be right in their mind. So I had to earn their trust. And sometimes it took one conversation. Sometimes it took 20 conversations. But that's okay, because I had a lot of other conversations going on. So somebody was always ready now. That makes sense, Tamara?
Absolutely. And something else that you really hit on there, which I think is a key characteristic of success in our industry, and that's consistency. Can you talk to consistency, Curt? Because you've been a consistent performer for 30 plus years.
Yeah, I don't know how many of you have been out to a campfire or in the woods or as a teenager on a camping trip, but I think about building our business kind of like about building a fire. And we all know the hardest part of building the fire is gathering the wood, putting the sticks on the fire, making sure it's dry, and getting that little fire started so it becomes contagious and you create a big fire. So in our business, you begin to gather your team, you gather your customers, you begin to start that spark and build your fire. But just like the campfire in the woods, if we get all distracted, singing, playing the guitar, having fun, drinking and eating, all of a sudden, before we know it, the big fire we had has gone out. And it would have been so easy, every 5 minutes just to throw another log on the fire. But we don't. We build something and we surge and create a bonfire, and then we don't keep putting fuel on the fire. And I do think it's important everybody that's successful in this business has a 90, 120-day period where they're going to look back and say, that's when I put the pedal to the metal. I decided I was going to do this, and I poured my heart, soul, and mind in it. I made sacrifices, and I focused. But you got to have balance in your life too. So after you've made that press and created momentum and established your team, it's very important, more important than you surge every 10 days, that you do a little bit every day. Because the surge is every 10 days. When you do surge again, you're rebuilding what's almost gone out. The fire's almost, every time you surge and build a big fire, you can keep doing that. But every time you come back and surge to build that big fire again, you've lost a lot because you didn't just keep putting fuel on the fire. And so it's easier to keep adding to your fire and doing daily consistent activities than it is to do a 4-day push and wait 10 days and do a 4-day push and wait 10 days. It's so frustrating. Your business becomes like a yo-yo, up and down and up and down. So it's really not that somebody, gosh, they want me to do this every day. Yeah, just wake up, be intentional, and you need to do these 3 activities at least a little bit every day. And these are broad categories, but you need to do something cold, something warm, and something hot every day. And the cold it doesn't mean cold calling somebody you don't know, but you need to have a conversation where Juice Plus is cold or the business is cold. It's the first time you've talked to them about the product or the business. You may know them and probably will in some way or form or fashion, but you're having a new conversation first time you've talked about product or business. So have X number of cold conversations a day, have X number of warm conversations every day. And warm is a customer you've already got on the product, sending them a great article. It's someone you've shared a video with that's not yet on your team. These are people that are in the pipeline. You've started the conversation, but this is follow-up to move them further along the path. They're not yet a customer. They're not yet a team member, but you're in conversation with them. So you want to have a couple warm conversations a day at least, more if you're full-time. And then the hot conversations are people that are already customers, people that are already on your team, where you're encouraging, training, motivating, taking them to a higher level. And if you just make sure that you touch your business cold, warm, and hot every day in some form or fashion, you'll have consistency in results and activity in your business.
Yeah, that's brilliant. Really doing those high-paying activities. And as you said, just having that daily method of operation, because if you're in a job, you'd kind of be doing something repetitively every day. So why is this any different? Exactly. Curt, you've been in this industry for 30 odd years, and you've seen lots of leaders come through your team, but also leadership come up through other teams. What do you think are some of the key characteristics that someone displays to really be successful in this industry?
I think the first answer is it's not just in this industry. It would be true of somebody who's successful anywhere, and that is managing their time. I think for the most part, I think we live in a world where people are poor managers of their time, and the successful people, one of the characteristics that stands out is they manage their time well. I think they get up early. I think they seize the day. I don't think they waste the night away. I don't think they waste the days away into the evening. I think they get up and have a fresh start, exercise, quiet time, whatever they're doing, and kick the day off. And then once they've done the important things, they can play at night. You can play in the afternoon. One of my goals was always to have I wanted to have everything done so that at 3 o'clock I could have the day to go play. But I didn't feel free to go do that. I'd worry. I'd have anxiety. I'd have pressure on me if I tried to go play before I got stuff done. And so I think, there's a book that I read. It's called Making Room for Life. And some people today think I'm crazy, but it's called Making Room for Life. And it talks about the circadian rhythms and how our body clocks are designed, that when you wake up and the sun shines, you get serotonin in your body. And when the sun goes down and you start to rest at night and the darkness comes, you get melatonin, and it's time to rest and time to relax. And this book talks about the way God created us, the way we're wired is when the sun comes up, you thrive, you function, you go do what you need to do. And then in the evenings, you begin to unwind and seek rest and commune with family and close people. But just like when our kids were young, we've created a society. And the quote in the book, which kind of scares you in the beginning if you read it, but it says, with electricity, we've created a nocturnal world that was never designed to exist. That doesn't mean lights and electricity are bad, but I saw it in my own family. I had young kids, and they were having ball practice at 9 o'clock at night because of the parks were so crowded and things were so crazy. And so this whole book is about how when you're supposed to unwind and seek rest, which is part of our core four, it's part of being healthy. When you're supposed to do that, we've tricked our bodies. All the lights come back on at night, and our bodies falsely almost re-secrete serotonin, and we wind our bodies back up. And in America, we have a sleep deprivation nightmare going on. People can't sleep. Nobody gets enough rest. So, when I told my teenage kids saw my sleep patterns and stuff, they were like, "Dad, you never do anything late at night." And I'm like, you know what? I said, I get up early. And I said, why do you think I can go play golf with you every afternoon at 3 o'clock? Why can I do all these things? Because I get up and I do the important things first. So time management would be my number one. And then a twist on that would be managing yourself. Most people that get in this business have had a boss and a job, and they've worked 9 to 5, and someone else has made sure they were doing what they needed to do. If they didn't do it, they had a boss that set a schedule, told them the desk to sit in, the computer to use, the task at hand. And when people get in this business, yeah, they have a sponsor, but you own your own business. You're in charge of yourself. And you have to learn how to manage yourself. It's part of time management, but it's really discipline. And then building on that, one more thing would be learning how to manage the month, because the month controls your paycheck. And every time in this business, what you do the first of the month through the 30th of the month determines what you get on the 10th of the month. So you need to learn how to start each month well, work the month, and finish each month strong. So you start well and finish strong. And a lot of people start well, but people give up and don't finish strong. It's like my son who's in college. He's like, I am so tired, Dad. I'll talk to him on the phone. I said, why? He said, I had a test today. He said, I haven't slept in 3 days. I stayed up all night. I've been studying because for 3 days. I said, you just found out 3 days ago you had a test? He said, no, it was on the syllabus at the beginning of the semester, but I just got busy. And then all of a sudden I had to pass the test. I had to make an A on the test. And what did he do? He didn't say, oh gosh, I'll just take this course again and I'll make an A next time, because he caught himself being behind the 8 ball. No. He pulled 3 all-nighters, probably drank too much coffee or whatever, and he studied and got it done. But we don't treat our business that way. We don't know that by the end of the month, I need to do this so that my paycheck will be that. And we're 3 weeks into the month, and we don't realize, hey, I've got another week. I'll pull the all-nighters. I'll do what I need to do. I'll get it done because I set a goal, and I need to finish what I started. And so people that learn how to create urgency and pull out all the resources at the end of the month to make timing and things happen, that new person that you're trying to get to HLP or get started, you're not begging them to finish off their goal so that you can make more money by the end of the month. You're getting them to finish their goal, because if they don't finish, they're going to wait 30 more days before they earn 14%. I know you've got till the 10th to finish your fast track, but if you do it by day after tomorrow, you're going to get 14% all next month. So you have to learn how to create urgency as a leader, because all the bonuses that are in place, like the fast track and the incentive bonuses, I know they're a little different in each country, but we all have a program like that. It's easy for us to get in this business and chase bonus checks. We all got in this business to create residual income. The bonus checks are pluses for your building stages. As you're growing and you're getting started, the 5%, the residual income is not as big. It's the biggest part of your check down the road, but it's not as big. So the company has amazing incentive bonuses to get us launched, to get us started. But if we focus on the bonuses and we chase the bonuses and we don't focus on the end of the month, we'll always be chasing bonuses. We won't be chasing that amazing residual income you can build. So you've got to learn to be wowed and amazed at the bonuses while you stay focused on building your paycheck.
Yeah, that's so true. And an amazing thing that sort of we learned from Jeff Roberti a couple of weeks ago is, true financial independence actually comes when you are earning an income off your assets. And so, yep. When you've gotten to the point where you can create a residual income, that's when you can start to build your assets. So that's exactly right. The long-term view is really important. Curt, we're going to wrap it up. So guys, if there are any questions, please post them in the chat section. But I'd like to sort of sort of finish by asking you not so much of a negative question, but more around the fact that we never tell people that this is going to be a piece of cake. We never tell people that this is going to be easy. It's always going to be a challenge doing a business like this, where it is your own business and it is your own lifestyle. Can you talk to some of the challenging times that you and your team have had, and the sorts of things that you've done to really rebuild and, be the phoenix out of the ashes?
Yeah, I mean, we've never had any major crashes or like almost quit moments. I mean, from the time we started, I think because we committed in the beginning to getting off to a fast start, we've not had to look back too much. I think a lot of people on our team, where they piddle and treat it like a hobby in the beginning, and then they have an aha moment, and then they decide to get started. We, for some reason, we kind of put the pedal to the metal and pressed hard that first month. So we didn't just play around with it for a while and watch all these other people around us become successful. We really pressed hard right out of the beginning. Now, we've had some transition periods, where it's more working with team members where a life tragedy happens. I can tell you a lady, she screamed to the top very fast, made qualifying national marketing director. And then the month after she made qualifying national marketing director, went through a bitter 3-year divorce. It was a battle. And she's the same. It's the same lady, same person that made qualifying national marketing director in 6 months. But, it's 3 years later now, and she's really back building her business. And she's still got the title of QNMD, but most of her team is eroded because she let that life tragedy, she put life on hold. So this is not a good, that sounds like I'm being a little crass or harsh, but everybody has life issues. My mother has Alzheimer's, and so I had to build a house next door and hire 24-hour care to take care of her, which I wanted to do. But I mean, I could let that be an excuse for my life and stop being productive, or, I accept that it's part of my life and I have to work through it. And a lot of people in this business, they will let a life issue. Some people are literally get that sick. I mean, there's some crisis you cannot work through. I'm not trying to put that, not be kind and say there's some things that just are battles that do put life on hold. But whether it's, a child that is struggling with his grades, or it's a marriage that's rocky, or it's you move from one city to another. There are a lot of things, and everybody faces life changes and challenges. And the people that make this business work, they don't let the bumps in the road of life put their business on hold. That they take the business with them through the bumps, and they keep going, they keep moving. And so I would say that's probably the biggest challenge that I've seen is, whether people make this business a priority and take it with them through the victories and struggles of life, or they let those struggles shut them down. And, I don't know who said it, but all excuses are equal to some degree, because we've all got them. They're just different. And we have to decide whether those excuses stop us, or those excuses are mountains we climb over and keep going, and I guess that's probably it. There are lots of little stories like that, but the company's never let me down, Tamara. I mean, it's been an amazing journey. They're debt-free. I've got lifelong relationships, not only in the field, but at the home office. And so for the most part, other than just life having its ups and downs, the business has always been there,
Yeah, I agree that it is one big family. And, we have leaders in our team who've had challenges and struggles. And the greatest thing about it is the community just wraps their arms around them and says, come on, let's get on with it together, which is great. Yep. Valerie Gamer, who's one of our national marketing directors, has asked a question. What are your top tips for starting somebody strong?
I have a little website, and we get people started quickly is the goal. And it's nothing. You're welcome to go look at it. It's makealife.jp, but there's nothing fancy there. But one of the things we do is we think the company gives a lot of grace to give you 30 days to make your first promotion. But I think it should take 72 hours. I mean, how much time does it take to get yourself on the product and get a couple customers, you know? So we really like hold hands with that person from the moment they get their username and password through placing their first order, through getting their 2 customers. We really make a press to help them get that first promotion and get that first, check on the way when the payroll runs, that first 72 hours. So we really try to get them that first promotion quickly. Even though they have 30 days, I think that's just a lot of waste of time to wait 30 days. So that's the really beginning important moment. I mean, people focused on the 30, 60, 90 days, but I think we don't focus enough on the first 72 hours. Because I think if you let someone get in the business and they just wander on their own, trying to share the product, trying to explain the business, they're excited, but they're also a loose cannon, and they can get their nose bloodied very easily without some support. That's any time you do something new, if you don't have someone to instruct you on how to do that new thing well, you don't have as much success. And, a lot of people can fall and bounce and get right back on the horse. But there are a lot of people, if they're trying something new, one fall off the horse is all it takes and they quit. So we really we're like right there with them for 72 hours. And the second thing is for them to have a monthly plan. And when I tell them, until you get your qualified business, until you get your 5 sales coordinator legs in place, you do these 3 things every month. You get 5 trio customers. You're going to get lots of complete customers. You'll get lots of Tower Garden. You'll get lots of Omega customers. But I want you to get 5 trio customers per month until you get 25 so that you're automatically qualified. And I know the numbers may be a little different in Australia, but I mean, enough. Get your business customer qualified on trios, which is automatic reorder. It's the one that makes the most sense with our research. It's amazing. So 5 customers a month, basically 1 a week till you get customer qualified. Number 2, help somebody make HLP, 1 new frontline direct distributor, 1 new DD every month out of that customer base, out of people you're talking to. Why wouldn't somebody go ahead and sign up, get 2 customers and get a bonus check back? It makes sense. So you 1 customer a week, 1 new team member per month that gets promoted to the first level. And then the third thing you do is you help someone on your team that's made that first promotion in the previous months. You help 1 new person on your team make VF, make the 3rd level. So customer a week, new team member a month, 1 promotion a month to VF. And you make sure that those 3 things, if you don't do anything else, those 3 things happen every month until you've got 5 sales coordinators.
Yeah, and the amazing thing about that, I mean, even though we have a slightly different bonus fast track system, it's the same thing. Sure. 5 new customers, 1 new franchisee, help someone get to the next level. Yeah.
Yep.
It's a global plan. It works really well. Why do we try to teach people anything different?
Right.
Worked for 40+ years.
I mean, we're in the people business. We have a product, we have a pay plan, we have profit. But once you realize you're in the people business, it's all the same,
And no matter which company you talk to in network marketing, they all say the same thing, that this is about when you realize that you're not in this business for yourself, but you're in this business for other people. When you make that realization, that's when your business flies.
Yep.
For sure. Well, Curt Beavers, we have been blessed with your presence for the last 40+ minutes. You have given some incredible analogies. I've written them all down. I'm loving the fishing one. I'm loving the fire one as well. Thank you so much for sharing your knowledge, your skills and your wisdom. Everybody on here knows that, when you surround yourself with successful people, you can't help but be successful. Thank you, everyone, on this Easter Monday holiday for your time. I'm going to open up the lines now. Please unmute yourself. Say thanks so much to Curt, and we will see you at conference.
Thanks, Curt.
Thank you.